one thing former President Donald Trump likes. It's dictators. Now, we saw that during his first term, from fawning over Vladimir Putin, president of Russia, writing what he called love letters to Kim Jong-un, and praising Rodrigo Duterte, president of the Philippines. Yeah, we saw that, lots of evidence. And now, of course, the reason that he loves them is actually, I think, because he wants to be them. Now, my assertion, of course, comes from people who work for him, who had worked for him, and have seen some of his attempted authoritarian tendencies. And now there's new information here about some of the stuff that he had said. Again, all the stuff, drip, 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 coming out. Lots and lots of things coming out.
Where the water rushes out to sea because you could never handle it.
You could never handle the drip, drip. It's not even a drip. It's just all sorts of information that has come out. Now, one piece of it comes from a writer with the New Yorker. And they had a couple of anecdotes. I believe she did. This is Susan Glasser and Peter Baker of that publication that co-wrote a book together. And one of the anecdotes here comes from arguments that Trump has had with former White House Chief of Staff John Kelly. So now they wrote that Trump had used to be enchanted by the idea of being in command of the military. I'm the most militaristic person that you'll ever know, that there has ever been. I know the military better than anybody else, better than anyone ever. Okay, so he loved the idea of being in the. I guess he's probably one of the guys who wanted to like sit there and pretend to drive the tank. You know, beep beep, I'm a tank driver. Look at me. He's such a child. Now, of course, being in command of the military as president of the United States, there's actually rules. There's regulations. There's things you can do. There's things you can't do. Things you can order. Things you can't order. Okay? There is a chain of command, if you will. So now he found out that with that chain of command, he does not have unlimited authority to do whatever the hell he wants. And so once he found that out, he became furious with the national security personnel they had to work with, who would routinely tell him, no, sir, we can't actually do that. No, we can't actually do that. We can't just unilaterally nuke a hurricane, sir. That's just, not only does that not make sense, sir, but that's also really, really stupid, sir. But I want to nuke a hurricane. Idiot. Idiot. Now, of course, this reportedly led to Trump complaining that America's military leaders weren't sufficiently subservient to him, and wishing that the U.S. commanders, and this is where it gets scary, would be more like the German generals in World War II. Now, if you want to be like, you know, your people to be like German generals nowadays, totally fine. Germans are wonderful people. German generals, I'm sure, are fantastic. But back in World War II, they had a different name. They were Nazis. Yes. Now, from the New Yorker, Trump's love affair with my generals was brief, and in a statement for the article, the former president confirmed how much he had soured on them over time. These were very untalented people, and once I realized it, I did not rely on them. I relied on the real generals and admirals within the system. What? Here's what he told John Kelly. Quote, and there's language here. You fucking generals, why can't you be like the German generals? To which Kelly asked, which generals? He's the German generals in World War II. You do know they tried to kill Hitler 3 times and almost pulled it off. To which Trump replied, no, no, no. They were totally loyal to him. Now, understand that that takes a completely different warped view of history. You know, alternative facts and all. But in his brain, in his version of history, all the German generals, and again, we're talking Nazis here, were 100% loyal to Hitler, and he doesn't see that as a bad thing. He sees that as aspirational. Like, yes, why can't my generals be like those guys and just do everything that I tell them to, no matter what it is? That's the model that he wanted for the United States. And again, that's why it is kind of frightening. Now, the report goes on to describe Trump's attempt to place yes men and others amenable to his desires in various national security positions. This brought him into conflict with those who view Trump and his actions as antithetical to the Constitution. So there it is. But understand, you guys, it's not about the Constitution. Trump doesn't care about the Constitution, never has. In fact, those of you who think, okay, but he might not care about the Constitution, but he cares about the conservatism. No, he doesn't. Donald Trump doesn't care about the conservatism, doesn't care about the Constitution, doesn't care about the Republican Party, doesn't care about his voters at all. No, all he cares about is power. And what he wants to do more than anything is to be able to order people to do whatever he wants them to do. That's it. And to shower him with praise, affection, and money. That's what a dictator is. Now, he loves dictators. And so, look, by the way, he made I guess a joke about, Kim Jong-un, right? Or what he said about the people in North Korea. In fact, here's that.
Hey, he's the head of a country, and I mean, he's the strong head. Mm-hmm. Don't let anyone think anything different. Right. He speaks and his people sit up at attention. I want my people to do the same.
Well, just before you met with him, he cleaned house. 3 of his top generals, some of the hardliners, he fired. Then you go over there, and you took some heat over saluting one of the generals.
I think he fired at least, okay? When you say he
3
fired.
that we know of.
I think maybe fired at least. Fired may be a nice word.
Okay, so you realize that people in North Korea have to stand up and applaud, or else they're murdered. I know. Look, he's joking. He comes out later and says, "I was just kidding. No, I was joking around. Of course. No, I don't think so. Look, I hope you caught this part. I hope where they talked about the firing of the 3 generals. And I had to listen to it, and I was like, wait a minute. Now, Ducey didn't pick it up, and I don't think a lot of people picked it up, at least at the time, but he said, I think they may be fired at least. Now, Ducey's like, oh, yeah, 3 of them, right? Because I guess he thought Trump was talking about how many they were fired. No. He wasn't talking about the number of people that were fired, because he followed it up by saying, fired may be a nice word. He knew what they meant. And I don't remember a lot of people pointing that out. Maybe I missed it. Maybe it's because of all the horrendous things that he said over the years. The nonstop scandals, but it's there. No, he talked about them being murdered. Look, this guy is a wannabe authoritarian. There are his fans that know this. And I've showed you videos of that before. If we're going to have a dictator, I want it to be Trump. Those are the people that are still, a lot of them, still on Team Trump. And they can't wait to have him back in charge so that he can finish what he started.